Hello, today's lesson is topic 4.8, rectangles and squares. We're going to work on calculating perimeter and area. If you've ever measured baseboards or built a fence, what you're doing there is calculating perimeter, the length of what you need on the outside of an area. Or if you've ever painted a wall, you may need to calculate area to know that you have enough paint. So these are applications that we can use in real life all the time. Perimeter is the distance around a shape, whether that's a rectangle, square, or even a shape that is irregular. And the area is the amount inside. So whereas the perimeter is the outside, the area is measured in squares on the inside, whether that's square feet, square centimeters, square inches, square kilometers. Area is the inside of a measurement. What we want to do when we calculate area and perimeter is use our formula sheet. It really is our best friend. So we have a formula for perimeter of a rectangle and a different formula for perimeter of a square. And so if we have a regular shape, such as a rectangle or square, we can use the formula. If we have an irregular shape, we can simply measure all the sides of the shape and add each side. So for example 1, we have a triangle. We don't have a formula for a triangle for perimeter, so all we do is add the 3 sides that we have, and we can add them in any order. So we're going to take 4 plus 6 plus 5 inches, and notice that all the units are the same. That's really key. We need to have it all in inches. So that's going to be 15 inches around that figure. But for example 2, we have a rectangle, so what we can do is use a formula. We can say that the perimeter is 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. So we can say that the length is 62, so I'm going to multiply that by 2. And the width is 32, so I'm going to multiply that by 2. And 2 times 62 is 124. And 2 times 32 is 64. And then we can go ahead and add those two numbers together to get 188 centimeters. Now, I'm going to show some alternative methods here, but you can always go back to adding on the outside. You could add 62 plus 32 plus 62 plus 32, and you're going to end up with the same. Also notice that the measurements, the units here is centimeters and inches. So because we are basically pulling apart this shape to create a whole line, like how far is it around this figure, then that's why our units are not squared. We get squared units through multiplication of the area. So we'll look at that when we get to area. When you're given a square and you're asked to find the perimeter of a square, you can use the formula on your formula sheet, which says that all 4 sides are the same. So instead of adding 7 plus 7 plus 7 plus 7, because we can see that this single tick means that they are all the same, we can say that the perimeter is equal to 4 times the side. So the perimeter is 4 times one side length, since they're all the same. And so the perimeter here is going to be 28 centimeters. Remember, when in doubt, you can always add all the 4 sides together. So we want to find the perimeter of this rectangle. It has a length of 8 and a width of 3 centimeters. So we're going to use our formula, 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. The length is 8 centimeters and the width is 3 centimeters. 2 times 8 is 16. 2 times 3 is 6. And we add those two numbers together, getting a perimeter of 22 centimeters. Sometimes students prefer to use a different formula, which is the length plus the width times 2. And it's the same thing, but in a little bit different format. So we can say 2 times 8 plus 3 is the perimeter. We do what's in brackets first. 8 plus 3 is 11. And the perimeter is 22 centimeters. So if you like that formula more, you can use that one. It's the same, it's just shown a little bit differently. So even though we know we can add 4 sides of a square, it's really good for us to use our perimeter formula. It's going to help us down the line. So the perimeter of a square is 4 times the side. Each side is 2.1 centimeters. So the total perimeter is going to be 8.4 centimeters here. So now let's take a look at area. We know perimeter is the outside measure, whereas area is the inside measure. So what we're trying to determine here is how many squares can I fit inside whatever I'm measuring. And because of that, the answer is always going to be reflected in square units. So square centimeters or square kilometers or square feet. And we have formulas for common shapes. So we have a formula for square, which is the side times the side, or the side squared. We have a formula for rectangle, which is the length times the width. And we have a formula for a triangle, which is the base, the bottom of the triangle, multiplied by the height, and then divided by 2. And the reason we divide by 2 is because really what we're calculating is half a rectangle. So base times height divided by 2. So in example 1, we see that we have a rectangle, so we're going to use our first formula, which is the area is the length times the width. And the length is 9 centimeters, and the width is 3 centimeters. And notice when we multiply centimeters by centimeters, that is why we get squared centimeters. So 9 times 3 is 27, and the centimeters has now been squared because we've multiplied our units. So that means we can fit 27 small centimeters in there, 1 by 1 centimeter. For example 2, we have a square, so the formula for a square is the area is the side length squared. So the area is 3 feet squared. And we know squaring means 3 feet times 3 feet. So the area here is going to be 9 feet squared, or what we commonly say, 9 square feet. So for the do together, what we have is a floor plan, and you want to buy carpet for this home. You want to put carpeting in the living room, in the bedroom, and in the hallway, but not in the bathroom. That'd be kind of gross. So you can try to guess how much carpet you might need, but you're better figuring it out exactly, because if you buy too much, of course, you're going to be paying. And if you buy too little, then what are you going to do? So we can use a simple formula. Area is length times width, and we can figure out room by room the square footage that we need, and then we can add the rooms together to determine the total amount of carpet that we need to purchase. Okay, so let's start with the living room. We can see that the living room here is 10 feet for one side. And on the other side, we're going to have to do some calculating because we can see the bedroom is 7 feet and the hallway is 5 feet. So we're going to have to add those two together to get the full length. So that's going to be 12 feet on that side. So for the living room, we're going to use our formula, length times width. That's going to be 12 by 10, and 12 times 10 is 120. So we have 120 square feet for the living room. Let's go to the bedroom. So for the bedroom, we have 7 on the one side and 7 on the other side. So we can multiply 7 times 7, which is really squaring the 7, right? So we can do 7 squared, or 7 times 7, and that's going to give us 49 square feet. For the hallway, we're going to take the 5 feet on the one side and the 12 feet on the other side. So length times width, we're going to take 12 times 5, which equals 60 square feet. Now we can add these amounts together. So we add all, 120 plus 49 plus 60, and that's going to give us 229 square feet of carpet that we need to purchase. For number 2, we need to find the total area that needs carpeting in square yards. So we need to use the conversion 1 square yard is equal to 9 square feet. Okay, so we're going to be converting 229 square feet to yards. Well, feet is smaller than yards, so I'm going to be dividing. And I'm going to divide by the conversion. So I'm going to take 229 square feet and divide by 9, and that's going to give me 25.4 square yards. So 229 square feet is equal to 25.4 square yards. For number 9, you may want to try this on your own and then check this video, pause it and try it and check it to see if you've got the right solution, because here we need to find both the perimeter and the area of this figure, and we're going to round our answers to a whole number. So what we have here is a figure that needs to be divided up in order for us to solve. So if we're looking for the perimeter, we know it's the outside measure, so we can see that 15 is matching here and here. So all of these single ticks represent 15 centimeters. And we know from here to here is 25 centimeters, but what we don't know is the distance up. But we do know, because if we take a line and we go across, we can see that we have a square here. This is 15, and this is 15. This is 15, and this is 15. So to get this outside measurement, we're going to take 25 plus 15, and that equals 40 centimeters. So now we can calculate our perimeter. Our perimeter is going to be 15, 15. Here is also 15 because we have 45 along the bottom. So we have 15 missing 15. So this is going to be 45 minus 30. So that's also 15. So our perimeter is going to be 15 plus 15 plus 15 plus 15 plus 15. So that is 5 of those. So 15 times 5 plus 40 and 40. So 40 times 2 plus 45 centimeters. And for the area, we're going to calculate one box, and a third box. So for each of these top boxes, they're 15 by 15. So this is going to be 15 squared plus 15 squared plus, for our bottom rectangle, we have 45 by 25. 45 by 25. So this is going to give us our area. So you can now calculate for the perimeter and the area and check to see in the answer key if you got the right answer.